Hello, this is Edith Neumeyer, and I am the author of the book, The Mystery of Adam. Today I want to continue with talking about the Noahide Law. And I had a lot of responses to my videos on the Noahide Laws. And I can see that people are interested and maybe are still very confused. Maybe because there's still a lot of fear-mongering out there. And when I talk about fear-mongering, I talk about scaring people to make them believe that pretty soon their head is going to be cut off if they don't follow the Noahide laws. That is not the way it is. It's not the way it is. The Noahide laws are still part of Judaism. And the reason why they were created is because Judaism did not want to accept the Gentiles as equal members. So this push of Judaism to still subjugate, and I think that's a good word, subjugate Gentiles, is stronger than ever. And I'll tell you why. Is because Gentiles allowed it. Too many Gentiles allowed this idea to flourish. It is not just the Jews bringing it out there. It would have to be accepted by Gentiles. Zionism does not have that much power. They have a lot of power, but they don't have that much power. Okay? Zionism is the political arm of Judaism. So, I'm going to bring it out there. Zionism is the political arm of Judaism. And Zionism does not have the authority that they can go as far as making the Noahide law legal. They can't do that. However, as we have more and more people accepting Judaism and wanting to please Judaism and bowing down to Judaism. I'm going to use that word bowing down because that's exactly what it is. See, we have nowadays people freely bowing down to Judaism. Well, yes, it was a doing of Zionism that we now believe that Judaism is something better than anybody else. That's because we've been conditioned to believe so. We have been conditioned to believe so. This push of Zionism using the Holocaust to make people feel sorry for the Jews or what happened for the Jews led right into people believing that the Jews are a better race, if you want to call them a race, than the Gentiles. Okay? This teaching is not biblical at all. It's not biblical. But see, when people close their eyes and put an idol where God is supposed to be, it always happens that way. And I really believe that people use Judaism as an idol. They even believe that the Jews are better. They are the chosen people of God. All that is absolutely not in the Bible. And so as long as we do that, as long as we have people pushing that idea, Judaism and Zionism become stronger and stronger in our society. Now, at this point, we have protections against any of the religions taking over the United States. And because I have, posted that before, I have said that on my video, and I posted it on my group called Mysteries and Conspiracies Which Help Us Understand Bible prophecy. And I post on that group, Facebook group, all my information that I'm finding and that I am sharing here on my videos. And one of the things that I did share was on Wikipedia, what they wrote about the Constitution. And I believe that is very important that I will say that again. It says, in the United States, freedom of religion is a constitutional protected right provided in the religious clause of the First Amendment. Freedom of religion is also closely associated with separation of church and state, a concept that advocated by colonial founders. Okay, so you can look that up on Wikipedia yourself, because that is the freedom of religion in this country is founded and it is laid down in the First Amendment. So people cannot just run over it. Okay? You cannot just come in and say, oh, from now on, we're going to be under Noahide laws. Or Judaism, because that's a religion. Okay? The Noahide law is part of Judaism, is a sub part of Judaism. See, the Noahide law under Judaism is for all the Gentiles. Okay? Judaism did not want for the Gentiles to have equal standing with the Jews under Judaism. There are now lots of Jews, and I've said that in some of my videos, and we have a lot of Jews, a lot of Gentiles right now that want to follow Judaism. Lots of them. And the Jews don't want that. The officials, the rabbis of Judaism, do not want that to happen. They don't want the Gentiles to have equal standing. So now they came up with these Noahide laws. So therefore, they can tell the Gentiles, well, you know what, you don't need to become Judaism. We don't want to burden you with following all these rules of Judaism. Why don't you just follow the Noahide laws? But that way, they can put the Gentiles on a different law system. And so they can subordinate and keep Gentiles subordinated from the Jewish believers. Okay? So make absolutely no mistakes. That's what the Noahide laws are. They are a subsection of Judaism. And they're saying, oh, we don't want you to follow all these burdensome laws that Judaism has to follow. But if you follow these, then guess what? You'll find. But when they do that, they can also punish them in different ways. Now, when they bring these Noahide laws in the United States, which they have tried to do and people always bring that up, okay? Under this Education Sharing Day, that's what it is, okay? Education Sharing Day, which is celebrated every year on the birthday of this really important rabbi or rebbe, okay? It's a Lubavitcher rebbe called Menachem Mendel Schneerson. That's what the rabbi is called, and he's very important. He's already dead, and in order to honor him, they started this Education Sharing Day. So if it is in honor of this Schneerson guy, okay, I don't want to come down hard on him because he's already dead and he's a holy man. in Judaism and Kabbalah. So we need to respect him. But if it is in honor of this guy, of course it is what? It's in honor to push Judaism. Now, in the United States, every religion has a right to exist and, to be practiced. We used to complain, or at least the Republicans used to complain, because Obama pushed Islam when he was a president. Well, that's because he has to support all religions. He cannot discriminate against any religion. Now, Trump right now is pushing Judaism. He is behind the Jews. And therefore, of course, he is going to push the Jewish religion and Judaism. So people don't make any mistake, but this education sharing day is just very highly dominated by Judaism. But this does not mean that all of a sudden Judaism has a higher standing than any other religion in the United States. Have we heard Trump saying he wants Bible teaching back in the school? Well, see, the thing that I have with this is that if you push one religion in the public school, other religion have the same right. So a Luciferian can come in and say, well, I want the same right as everybody else. See, we had this push for getting out Christianity or Christian celebrations out of the public school because all religions have equal rights. So again, if we bring one in, we have to bring all the other ones in. So all this stuff about Trump wanting to bring in one is not working, okay? I'll guarantee you if they would push one over the other, people would be extremely upset. Extremely upset. We already have that happening right now. The people who do not agree with Christianity, they don't want their kids to be exposed to Christianity. Now, what do you think these people will do when Judaism is pushed in the schools? Noahide Law is pushed in the schools. Well, of course, they're going to say, out with it, okay? So how are they going to sneak it in? Well, they can sneak it in by saying, all right, we're going to allow Bibles in the school. Oh, now we're going to allow Judaism or the Noahide Laws in the schools. That's the only way they can push it. They cannot push it as one thing. Again, this education sharing day has nothing to do with public school. It could be pushed in public school, but if they push it in public school under education sharing day, I'll guarantee you that the Luciferians or any other religion is going to go in there and say, wait a minute, if you push this one, we want to have Judaism, not Judaism, but the Muslim religion pushed in the schools. So I don't see that there is too much fear or needs to be too much fear out there. I think education is the key word. We need to be educated. We need to know what's being pushed. Okay? We need to know what's being out there before it comes. And being educated about the Noahide Law and the things that are coming or being pushed into our culture is very important. But at this point, I still do not see that the Noahide laws are going to be dominating the United States at the time. No, it's impossible because the United States has too big of a diversity. Now, where this could be pushed is in Israel. because Israel is, of course, governed under Judaism, okay, and under Sanhedrin law. So because they have Sanhedrin law, and if you consider being under Noahide laws in Jerusalem, if you say you're a Gentile, they can push whatever they want under that law. But that does not mean that will be applied in the United States as of this time. Okay? This means it could infiltrate in the schools, and that just means that the parents have to be aware of it, and if for any reason it would be taught in the schools, it would have to be thrown out under the First Amendment. Okay? If that would come into the schools and now all of a sudden the schools would have to, it would be taught in the schools as under, well, all Gentiles have to bow to Noahide law, then people would have to stand up and say, hey, wait a minute. Under Constitution, the First Amendment Constitution, we have freedom of religion, and therefore this is not allowed. So somebody would have to come in and change the whole freedom of religion under the Constitution. And I'm not quite sure if that is that easy. I cannot believe that it's that easy. I think what will happen is that these Noahide laws will be pushed more amongst people that are already bowing down to Judaism. The Gentiles that are bowing down to Judaism at this point, I think there's a more likely cause that will be pushed more and more. Okay? In other words, the Christians that are following or have an inclination to follow Judaism, they will fall away from Christianity more and more to bow down to Judaism and then put themselves under this Noahide law. Okay? That's more what I see. So, I don't think people should be worried at this point. Again, this whole scare about the beheading, okay, that people could be beheaded if they don't follow Noahide law, is nothing but a fear tactic. That's what I believe at this point. It's not a valid, valid conclusion. When we go, even when you say prophecy, that's prophesied. It's not prophesied. It is prophesied in Revelation 20 that the people that are not bowing down or not worshiping the image of the beast or the beast will be beheaded. It doesn't say anything about Noahide laws or Judaism or anything like that. It says if you don't bow down to the image of the beast, okay, the image of the beast. Now, of course, there's now people saying, this false Messiah will come and he will make people bow down to him. But that still is not saying that they are violating any one of the laws. That's not what it says. They're worshiping the image of the beast. You are already worshiping the image of the beast if you bow down to Judaism. Okay? That's worshiping the image of the beast. Because Judaism is part of the image of the beast. Now, I believe the beast is papacy. There's just no doubt in my mind. But see, under papacy believes that all other religions are inferior and they all have to bow down to papacy. And I believe that Judaism is the Judaism that we know today. Okay, I'm not talking about the teachings of Moses, the teachings of the prophets, what we have in the Old Testament. It's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Judaism today. Okay? And I have done videos about that. What is Judaism? Kabbalah, because they're all connected. So the Judaism we have today has nothing really to do with Moses and the prophets and Abraham. No, nothing to do with it. It is a man-made religion based on Kabbalah, or Kabbalah, however you want to pronounce it, Kabbalah, and on the mystery religion. It's a mystery religion. That's what Kabbalah is. It's a mystery religion, and it's very, very heavily based on the occult and the false religions, the false Babylonian and religions of the cultures around Israel. Okay, the Israelites, they chose idol worship over the worship of the true God. We know that. If we know the history of the Jews, we know that the Jews have always done that. The Israelites, the Hebrews have always done that. Okay, and so they allowed these things, these occult things, to enter their religion. And over, 2,500 years, they have accumulated and mixed their belief with occult practices. And they have not realized that their rabbis, their rebbes, and their sages have misled them greatly. So what they now believe is Talmud, and Talmud is influenced by these false teachers. And so now Judaism is studying Talmud. Everything out of Judaism comes from Talmud. Okay, it does not come from the clear teaching of Moses and the prophets. It does not. And you know what? Somebody needs to really speak out against that. And we haven't had that. Why? Because we kind of ignored the Jews. We kind of ignored the Jews because they were a minority. And so all of a sudden, the Jews have gained again an upper hand. Well, not all of a sudden. I shouldn't say that. It's been in the making, okay? This has been happening a long time, where the Jews are trying to kind of really get a upper hand in this world. And it's been happening for a long time, okay? It's been happening since before even the First World War. The Jews are trying to get an upper hand in politics. Now, these Jews are not your average Jews. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about an elite group called Zionism. It's an elite group. And yes, I know probably most of the Jews are affected by it. But most of these Jews are being deceived. They're very highly being deceived. And so most Jews do follow Zionism. So yes, we need to know about these things. We need to know about the background of what is going politically and has been going on politically in this world. In this strong push and propaganda by Zionism to support the Jews and to make the Gentiles and the Christians feel guilty. First, guilty. See, that was the first phase. We're going to create a situation where the Gentiles and the Christians will feel guilty for the Jews, okay? Feel sorry for the Jews. And I want you to think about, how did that happen? How did that come about? How did it come about that all of a sudden the Jews were the group that people felt sorry for? That never happened in history before. And yeah, opposite. The Jews were actually persecuted most of the history. Most of those 2,000 years of Christianity, the Jews were persecuted. Okay? And I'm not saying always, but there were lots of persecutions in between. Most countries, European countries, persecuted the Jews. Well, because the Jews were not honest with the Gentiles, okay? And so there was always this, carefulness about the Jews. But this has changed, right? So Zionism started, 1700. And since then, they're trying to become stronger and stronger politically in the world. So they had to create an event through which they could change the mind of the Gentiles and the Christians. Well, think about it. What was that event? That event was the Holocaust. If the Holocaust would have not happened, I don't think that the majority of the Christians or the majority of the Gentiles all of a sudden feel sorry for the Jews. Okay, people always say, oh, it's the Germans' fault, it's Hitler's fault. I don't believe that anymore. After all my research, I realized that it's not something Hitler created. There was a very more sinister plan behind it. So now we have, the world feeling sorry and constantly hearing that we have to feel sorry for the Jews, and the Jews are, always persecuted, and oh my goodness. And if we're not supporting the Jews at this point in phase 2, now we are anti-Semites, okay? Oh my goodness, and being an anti-Semite is the most horrible thing in the world. You can talk about the Mexicans, you can even talk about the blacks. You can talk about the Germans, of course. Oh my goodness. You know what? You can cut those down and slice them. Nobody cares about that. You can talk about the Muslims and you can cut them down to pieces. You can talk about the Arabs and cut them to pieces. But whoa, do not talk about the Jews, because, well, if you talk about the Jews, you're an anti-Semite. And you're going to be sliced to pieces. Not the Jews, but you're going to be sliced to pieces. You say one word against anything, Israel. Oh no, you cannot criticize anybody. You say one word, and you are doomed. You're doomed. So that's right now we're in the second phase. We're in the second phase of this great plan for the Jews, for Israel, for the Zionists to dominate this world. And that's what we need to be aware of. This is a more scary thing for me, what's going on today, and allowing one country to dominate the rest of the world in such a way needs to be stopped. We need to stop this nonsense. And that is more important than saying, oh my goodness, these Noahide laws are going to bring doom. No, the doom is not coming from the Noahide laws. The doom is coming from Zionism. And I'm going to have to say that. I hate to say that. I hate to say that. You know why? Because I do not like what happened in Germany. I do not like what happened in Germany, with the Jews. No, that was a horrible, horrible thing. We don't even know what really happened, okay? So it is hard to talk about it, but it doesn't matter. It matters that it was a horrible thing, and because it was a horrible thing, we better think about what happened. See, we make it so easy. Oh, it's all, Hitler's fault. Oh, it's all the Germans' fault. No, that's not the way it was. Look at history. I'm running out of time right now, so Of course, that's not the topic of my video today, but do some research. Do some research, historical research on what really happened in Germany, and not just during the time when the Jews were persecuted in Germany. Start thinking about and doing some research what happened before. Okay, what happened before during the Third Reich, and what happened in the United States, how they, how the Zionists treated Hitler before Hitler even put all the sanctions on the Jews. Do some research about that, because that's more important. And I have a feeling that what is happening in the United States today could be very parallel to that time. Very parallel. And then all of a sudden, we're going to be ending up into something that we did not even anticipate. So I think it's very important to wake up. There is no doubt. We need information about the Noahide Law. I have a friend that does videos about the Noahide Laws right now, and I don't 100% agree with her, but I definitely really appreciate, her sharing all the information. But you need to go deeper, because the rabbit hole is a lot deeper than just the stuff, on the surface. I have, again, posted several videos, 2 videos on the Noahide Law from my friend, and because I thought they were interesting. But again, you have to go deeper than what you see right there. Okay? Do not be scared. No fear. All we have to fear is the wrath of God, and we have to be prepared for the rapture. And remember, I had said in one of my videos what the early Christians said. They said Maranatha. Maranatha, it was a greeting. May the Lord come. That's what we are thinking and focusing on. I will finish up today. Let the Holy Spirit guide you, and do always your own research.